What's up, my friend? Hey, welcome to episode 2 Hondo of the Studio Sherpas Podcast. I'm Ryan Coral, your host, and I'm here to help you grow your video business. And I am really excited that you are here. I can't believe it. 200 episodes. This is crazy. Thank you for celebrating this accomplishment with me. I know some if you're newer to the show, you might be like, why does this guy care? Why is he making a big deal out of, starting this show 200 episodes ago, I had the dream and the goal of hitting 100, which is why we numbered the episodes with 3 digits, 001, 002, and so on. But I didn't really think beyond 100. I think I thought 100 episodes was a lot. Maybe we do 150 or something like that. So I just want to say I'm here today because of you. I do this show on a weekly basis because of you. I have received countless number of emails, texts, messages that have just been full of gratitude from people like yourself. And this, to me, comes very easily. I find a lot of joy in this. And to hear your stories and to hear the wins that you've gotten from listening to my voice, but also, we've had almost hundreds of guests. Hundreds would be, is it after we hit 200 episodes? But then even more than 200 because I don't know how many solo episodes I've done. But so this episode, I just wanted to, it's going to be special. It's going to be a little bit different. We have some really fun messages from you, from this community, from the people who have been listening for a long time, and from even some new people. So we'll get into those, which is really, really fun. But before we go there, if you are listening to this episode on the morning that the 200th episode is released, I just want you to know that we have a Facebook group that you should join. So if you're not on our email list and you didn't get the link, but if you are, then you would have gotten the link. And if you're not, then just go to facebook.com or open up the app in your mobile device. And the Facebook group page is called Grow Your Video Business. You may have heard me say that 100 or more times on the podcast, but the name of the Facebook group is Grow Your Video Business. There's like 3 questions that you need to answer before you get access to the group. But if you're listening on this Monday, we are going to have a fun little party where I'm going to be live and it's going to be a good time. So 2 p.m. Eastern Standard on Monday, the 26th of October. I think that's the right date. So hopefully you come to that. Okay. I just have a couple of things that I want to say before we jump into the stories and all the stuff that got submitted from the community. It is my pleasure, my total joy, honor to do this show, to know so many of you and to hear from you. It is very life-giving, very fulfilling for me. So not only do I run a video production company and have a team that is doing amazing work, and do I get the fulfillment of making or helping make our clients really happy and create amazing work, I also get to be in community with so many other videographers, filmmakers, storytellers, people that are trying to make an impact in the world and also make a living at this work that we're doing. So thank you so much for trusting me. I do want to give some shout outs here. Jeremy Enns and his team at Counterweight Creative, Casey, Matt, you guys are amazing. And they're the ones who produce this show. So they're the ones who edit it. They sweeten the sound. They write the blog posts. They find the graphics. They do the titles. They do all of the things so that I can just do the thing that I love doing the most, which is interview guests and talk. So they take care of all the details, which without them, I remember episode 2, I think it was episode 2, I after doing it all the work by myself, I was like, there's no way I can keep doing this. This is not sustainable, because I was spending 6 to 8 hours total from finding somebody to interviewing them, editing, creating all of the stuff that needed to go online. It probably did not need to be anywhere near 6 to 8 hours, but because I'm overcoming perfectionism, That was part of my issue there. So having Jeremy and his team, Jeremy is a gem. He is such a awesome, incredible human being, and I'm so glad that we found each other. And and just rock and roll. I don't know what I'm saying. Tina has been my incredible virtual assistant for, I don't even know, probably since a little bit before we started the podcast, or maybe right after. So she's been around for a long time, and she fields all of our support emails and just does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So I would probably not enjoy this work nearly as much if I didn't have Tina doing all of the stuff that she's done. So she is amazing. Matt Davis, I mean, if you started listening to the podcast at the very beginning, and then at some point you're like, where the heck did Matt go? There's an episode about that where Matt and I talk about where he went. He's still around. We're still friends. He still exists. But, he is not... I forget what episode it was, but, for Matt, he had other stuff. He really had to focus on his business, and juggling 2 businesses was just too much. And the dream of Studio Sherpas began in a car ride between Matt and myself. We had just finished filming a wedding in like Kentucky or West Virginia or something like that, and that's where this idea to create a community of filmmakers, people in video production, a place where we could grow in community, where we could learn from each other and we could better our businesses. We could charge more money. We could, know how to sell without feeling salesy. All of the stuff that, we had been learning. Matt and I were both a part of a bunch of different conferences and things over the years. And I'm not sure what happened, but like the groups that we were a part of, it was just hard, like the events that we were going to, the workshops, the expos, all that stuff. I think it became it cost too much money. It took way too much time because most of us in this industry are actually doing the work of the industry. So creating video projects for our clients. So to do 2 different things and sustain them is really, really difficult. I've been able to do it because I've found some incredible people along the way that I've been able to delegate and get people to help, and my amazing team at Tell Studios who have been so gracious and patient with me as I've juggled 2 different businesses. That has been a huge, huge help in doing all of this. So huge shout out to my team, Tell Studios, and obviously, to Matt for dreaming with me a long time ago, for passing the torch along to me, and letting me continue to do this. Matt, you're a hero. Love you, dude. And I do miss you. Let's get you back on an episode. We need to do an episode. That would be a blast. And then to everybody who I've met in person, whether it was at the Onward Summit that Studio Sherpas hosted last year, we're going to do another one in June. That was incredible. I've gotten to meet people in different states, in Florida and California, like on different trips that I've gone on, and I reach out to our Facebook community and just say, hey, is anybody who's in California? I'm going to be in Florida, and have been able to spend time with PJ and Jeff and Larry, and if I'm forgetting other places that I've been and I hung out with you, I'm sorry. Mariana came and visited. Amazing. So it has been a huge, huge gift and blessing. I'll stop saying that, I'll stop saying that just so we can get to the rest of the episode. But hopefully you can hear my heart and just know how much I freaking love what I get to do. And I just want to say thank you for letting me do it. The last thing, is it the last thing? Or should I come back? I'm going to come back. Special announcement when we come back. But let's jump into and hear some of the stories, some of the big takeaways from previous episodes, things that people have gleaned from this podcast. I think that's just really helpful, encouraging, and I'm ready to listen to somebody else talk for a few minutes. So let's jump into those, and I'll be back at the very end just for a couple minutes. So stay tuned.
My name is Wesley Dean, and I run Intermotion Media. We're based in Alexandria, Virginia, just across the river from Washington, D.C. We do a lot of work with creating online coursework, as well as a number of groups that are based in the DC area, whether it's kind of like think tanks or groups involved with international policy issues. Been able to film a few heads of state with visits when they've come to the US. But then we also do a mixture of work that's promotional videos for nonprofits, schools, a bit of work with churches as well. So it's a kind of a wide mix that's a lot of fun, but also kind of very themed to the DC area. I mean, there was once time I had a conversation with someone who was from a family foundation. I was having a conversation about a video, and I thought going in, my thought was, yeah, her budget's probably going to be about $5,000. But I asked that question, what is your budget range? Don't pinhole for a number, ask, what is your budget range? And then when she responded with, oh yeah, we're thinking about 15,000. It was literally like 10,000 above what I was thinking of. And if I had provided a quote, it probably would have been at 5,000. And she would have said, hey, this is great. And I would have left $10,000 off the table for this project. The second thing that I really have taken away is just to make sure you understand that when you present something that looks well, that you spend time putting together, that people are going to value it more. And people, when it comes to any kind of a proposal, the better something looks, people are going to value it more than just, hey, here's something I created on a Word document for you. And it's a quote. But no, actually spend time making your things look good, and people will instantly value it a lot more. And the third thing that I've really learned is just to make sure you don't get caught up on, hey, the gear is going to make you work, the gear is going to make it work for you, but spend time investing yourself, find mentors, and finding other people that can show me how to do what they've already done. And I just know that life with mentors is so much easier. That's been a huge takeaway that I know is going to be life-changing for me, not just for my video business, but for life in general. I bike about 6 miles to work. I don't always bike, but when I often do, Studio Sherpas has been on with me for countless miles. So thanks, Ryan, and the crew. Thanks. I've enjoyed listening to your voice at 1.5x, pumping me up in the morning as I'm biking those 6 miles into work and 6 miles back. So thanks for accompanying along the way and for just giving me so much wisdom, tips. Loved how Ryan in the show has been open up about his financial struggles at times and through seasons, and how important it was just to kind of surround yourself with a family and a group of people that can believe what you're doing and that you can get out of it. I know there are times where I've gone through financial difficulties over the last 4 years, and during those times it was kind of really helpful, just Ryan's raw authenticity about struggles that he had gone through and how he was overcome them. And it really just gave me hope that, hey, it was going to be possible to get out of these things, get out of the debt, and issues or whatever. And so thanks so much, Ryan. Really appreciate it.
Hey, I'm Jake Sturgis with Captivate Media and Consulting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My biggest transformation, I think, has been just in terms of personal growth and hearing the rhythms and routines that Ryan constantly talks about. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not doing all of those quite yet, but the repetition, morning routines and taking time for myself and, looking at, scheduling my Fridays in a different way, which I've completely blocked my Fridays off now for meetings to be able to really do some deep dives into my business, as well as to just be having those conversations with people that I may not normally have time to have conversations with during the course of a normal week. But it's just been such a great community here to be able to hear from others, learn from others, and then be able to take that and be able to see some of those, the fruits of the wisdom really coming to bear. I'm really looking forward to just how this group continues to change and evolve and how we help each other out in the future. And I love what's been started, and can't wait to see what this looks like here as we continue to grow forward together.
My name is Jacob Hamill. I am from Lubbock, Texas, where we run Hamill Bros Studios. I would have to say that my biggest takeaway from the Studio Sherpas podcast would definitely have to be establishing a budget with the clients that you're going to work with, and really not moving forward until you get that answer. Regardless of what it is, just being able to, establish a budget range even is really, really important. And we've found that in our work, most of the time, if we don't establish a budget range, the project just winds up being kind of a disaster. So it's very interesting that just such a simple part of the conversation can have such a big impact on the rest of the project. It also kind of helps you establish the tone for the relationship that you're going to have with the client. And I think that's a big deal. It's nice seeing people share their success stories and share their positivity and support each other in this community, rather than just, adding to the negativity of today. So it's been really, really great for us. It's made a huge impact on our creative business as a studio. It's put us in jobs that we would have never guessed that we would have ever had. And it's also brought us a lot of really great relationships that we look forward to cultivating further.
Hey, this is Maxwell Bentley from the Bentley Media Group here in Atlanta. I've been a professional videographer for almost a decade. Being a part of the Studio Sherpas community, whether it's listening to the podcasts, attending the Onward Summit, or doing any of Ryan's training, or even just being part of the Facebook group, has been transformational at a visceral level because it made me realize that business is about relationships. When I first got started, I was all transactional. I was always, okay, we're going to sell this many videos. We're going to do this, and this. We're going to outsource this, and this. And just being in a community of more mature business people we are all in the same game. We all live in the same world, just different parts of it. It made me realize that, hey, it's not about what can my client do for me. It's not even about what can I do for my client. It's about what can me and my client do together. My confidence as a video marketing strategist has been boosted 200-fold over the past several years. And the biggest catalyst for that is that everybody in Studio Sherpas is human. Everybody's raw. Nobody's afraid to talk about their mistakes or their mishaps or their goof-ups. And Ryan is about as raw and human and personable as it gets, which is awesome because it inspires everybody else to be the same way. And it really made me realize that, hey, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I'm not designed to be perfect. And it's okay to make mistakes. And I'm going to make mistakes because mistakes are part of the process. That felt good.
Hey, what's up? I'm Nate McCowan. I'm from Tucson, Arizona, and my production company is Updraft Productions. But it's really just me for now. I've been listening to Studio Sherpas for the past 2 years, and when I started listening to Studio Sherpas, I was working the front desk at a hotel, making minimum wage. It was my first job that I got when I got out of prison. It was the only job I could get. Before I went to prison, it's been my dream to be a filmmaker. I had the fortune to go to film school, and I just didn't know if I could do anything with it. But the inspiration I got from the Studio Sherpas podcast, the wit and the wisdom, the great guests you had on, it inspired me to go for it. And today I have my own video production business. I am able to support my family, and every month I keep growing. It keeps growing, and I have awesome clients, and I love my life right now. And so thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Studio Sherpas. What you've built with Studio Sherpas is amazing. The community you've built. I hope to one day be able to create a community that helps people in the way that you have. And I'm working on it. I have my own podcast right here. Just a little bit about me, but I have my own podcast about four people who are getting out of prison and returning to society, like inspiration, motivation, hope for the future, stories, resources. I don't know, if you get a chance, check it out. It's Handcuffed to Freedom. You can find it on all the podcast apps. I'm glad to have found Studio Sherpas and just to have built this life that I have now, and it just keeps getting better.
I came to Studio Sherpas, the podcast and the community, in May of 2017. And I had a business that was about 2 years old, an employee, 6-month-old twins, and I realized that I needed to hire somebody else, and I needed to figure out how to run a business. And somehow, thankfully, I found Studio Sherpas to help me start to move from a guy who made videos to a business owner, a creative, going beyond sort of what I thought I got into this business for. And the best thing that I took away from this is there was an actual plan or a framework, a blueprint for someone who did not know how to run a business or run a video business for that matter. And you know, this community as a whole, it's a collection of the audio, the podcast, the community itself, the dialogue and great resource, and the way people lift each other up has really just made a huge impact on my life, both business and personal. And, you know, yes, it's taken, you know, our revenue from 2018 to 2019, forget COVID for a second, you know, we increased our revenue 300%. And a lot of that came from all the stuff I learned in this community. You know, taking things that have worked for other people and manipulating them into what worked for us. And figuring out how, you know, there doesn't have to be one way to do something, but having some sort of compass to direct you in the right way. And Ryan is sort of like an excellent Sherpa, has made just every bit of difference in my life. And we've done so much better as a business because this community exists, and I'm super thankful for it every day. I am a big fan of Ryan Coral and all that he's built here, but I'm an even bigger fan of all the people involved who answer questions and try to help people and come from a source of actual understanding of what other people are going through, as well as, you know, a collective concern for the problems we face and actively bringing solutions from a perspective that no one else can have, the owner of a video production business. And I find that to be so helpful and lovely, and just how I feel like the whole world should work in the face of so much that's going on right now. If we all just took a page out of the Studio Sherpas book, I think we'd all be in a better place. And again, I'm super thankful that this community, I'm a part of this community, and you know, everyone is there for each other. Appreciate everyone. Thanks.
Hey, this is Larry Wizicki coming to you from Creative on Main Street Studio in Tampa, Florida. You know, we all love creative work, but one of the downsides is we can become very isolated in what we're doing. We kind of get into that creative silo, and Studio Sherpas community and the podcast, everything that Ryan has put together has been a huge improvement to me, not just my business, but in just my personal thinking and the dreams that I want to have for my life and things going forward. It makes my my work that much better, but the personal side of it, the community that's out there, you just don't feel alone, and it's awesome. So Ryan, I thank you so much, man, from my heart. I think the thing I really appreciate most about Ryan is his humility, just his humble heart, just sharing struggles and things, and you know, always talking from a perspective of, you know, I used to do this and that didn't work, so don't do that. Let's talk to some people that are doing better, and let's hear from them and see what their ideas are. And the way that he brings that out in guests and just in other people is, man, it's something that I really aspire to be able to do, to bring out the best in people. That's what I would say is the greatest thing.
Studio Sherpas has really helped me realize that I wasn't charging my clients nearly enough. I downloaded the Budget Maximizer tool, and that really helped me think through the invoices that I was sending clients at a much deeper level. And it's helped me raise my prices and live a better life, quite frankly. I really appreciate the positivity that comes across in every episode of Studio Sherpas. In the world of filmmaking, there's so many filmmakers who try to act, you know, bad to the bone and so tough and like they have all the answers. And there's this sense it's disarming, and it takes away any intimidation from Studio Sherpas. There's this warmth, and I get a feeling like the people who are involved with the podcast and all of the classes online, they sort of take this approach that says, hey, we're all learning together. And I find that very inviting and warm and winsome. So thank you for that, and thanks for all you're doing.
Hey there, my name is Jeremy Enns, and I do not have a video studio, but I do have a podcast production agency called Counterweight Creative. And I and my team have been involved with producing the Studio Sherpas podcast all the way since episode 2. So it has been a privilege and an honor to get to know Ryan and help out with the production of the show for this long. And I have just taken away so much away from this podcast. And I know everyone on my team who works on it has as well. So my biggest takeaway comes from way back. I don't even know which episode this is. This would have been pretty early on. But Ryan, you were talking about or telling a story about how you had an employee that you were wanting to fire, but you had a business coach at the time who would not let you do so, and kind of forced you to realize that you had not set this person up to succeed, and you had not laid out clear expectations and for that person's role. And as I was listening to this episode, kind of in the span of a few months over there, I was also starting to build up my team and was frustrated at the start with why people didn't just get it. And I thought that some of the things that came easily to me, other people should very easily be able to do as well. And listening to that advice and hearing that story from you, I have come back to that again and again and again in the 3 or 4 years it's been heard that story. And now I've started telling that story on your behalf to other people. And that has played a huge role in how I onboard team members and communicate with people on my team. And I know that there have been times where I've been frustrated that people didn't quite get what I was trying to do with a certain project or task or anything like that. And it was coming out kind of wrong. And I think back to that all the time. Just keep doing your thing, man. And by doing your thing, I mean, growing out that beard, it's looking good. And I'm trying to compete with it a little bit, but still a little patchy when it gets short, but keep doing your thing. And with the beard and the podcast and everything else you do. And oh man, we were supposed to hang out in person this summer, and that's probably the real loss of COVID, was that we didn't get to actually meet in person. So next year, hopefully. But I'll talk to you real soon, and thanks for everything that you do.
Hey, this is Jeff Pickett, owner of Media by JP, and we're a video production agency based in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So listening to Studio Sherpas for the past 2, maybe 3 years, it's really hard to distill everything I've learned into one big takeaway. A little humble brag here, but because of Ryan's his courses, his podcast, the community that we have on Facebook, I know that I'm making more than the average videographer, according to whatever statistics that I saw in the last, I think, 75,000 a year. We have consistently made, or I've made 6 figures in revenue year after year after year. And I think a lot of that is attributed to Ryan and the community that's based around this podcast. We learned very quickly that, clients have needs, and we need to address those needs. And once you address your clients' needs, the money will follow. It's not like you got to chase the money first. You really have to understand what those clients' needs are. And the variety of guests that Ryan has on the show are crazy in their diversity. You've got Mike Michalowicz from Profit First, who probably knows nothing about video, but he's a very great author. And then you have other people out there that are from the video world, and even people from our own community that are hosts or who are on the show and share their stories. So I can't say enough about what this show, what Ryan has helped for my business, and I know for many others in this community. So just a quick heartfelt thanks to you, Ryan, and congratulations on your 200th episode of the Studio Sherpas Podcast. I'm going to get all teary-eyed just like you would. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about Ryan, about this community, is just the vulnerability that we're all able to share. I mean, we are a nation, if you will. We are not an island of one, and none of this would be possible without Ryan and the guests that he's had. And the quirkiness that Ryan has too it's just something to be admired. I'm about as quirky a guy as possible, and to see Ryan embrace that quirk and embrace that. I said quirk, not twerk, Ryan. Embrace that. It's empowering. So again, congratulations on the 200th episode. May there be 200 more, and keep upping the level that you've been doing. It's been a great ride. Climb on.
I'm Doug Darling from Tripwire Media Group, a video production company in the center of Canada. Some of my biggest takeaways from these podcasts, aside from learning how to cradle my head perfectly into my hand for a really good headshot, which Ryan has done so well, it's really hard to nail it down to one takeaway, but really I met people through this. I've learned about other people and what they do. I have everything from confirmed what I'm doing to realize that I'm maybe doing things right that I didn't know before. I've learned the things that I'm doing wrong that I can improve on. And I've heard of things that I've never had considered before that have allowed me to grow my company and to find the confidence in myself to know that I'm not alone in what I'm doing. This is the first podcast that really, really appealed to me and my business and how I could grow as a person and how I could grow my company. Is that a big enough takeaway? That's a big takeaway. I'm going to keep that takeaway. I'd like to thank you, Ryan. I honestly would, from the bottom of my heart. I am inspired by your dedication. I think I literally said this the other day, if I had done my own podcast setup, I think I would have made it to 10 episodes and then followed something else. To get to 200 is such an achievement, and it inspires me and my commitment and the things that I can do to redefine myself, and seeing you grow as a person and see your company grow and how that's helped me. Just thank you so much. So congratulations and thank you.
Hey guys, it's Adam Hislop here. I have a studio called Atomic Spark. So I think I found the Studio Sherpas podcast when you're on about episode 2 or 3, Ryan. So really early on. And I remember just being so excited that there was something dedicated to what I did, corporate video production. And by far the biggest takeaway from this whole thing has been the community. Honestly, just being able to be part of a group of people that love what they do and love the same thing that I love, and that you can share ideas and learn from each other, and even celebrate when there's something awesome happens, and talk when there's bad things going on. It's been awesome to be part of that. Thank you, Ryan. The podcast's awesome, and even better is the community that you've created around this. So thanks for bringing us all together and getting us all excited about what we love to do.
My name is Matt. And I am a good old Canadian boy over here in BC, Canada, Vancouver. I actually live on the small island, Vancouver Island here. Run Capture the Moment Media with my partner John, and we love the Sherpas. We love Ryan. We love all the great info that we get from you guys. It's amazing. The biggest takeaway that we've got, from not only listening to all these podcasts over the past few years, but also starting off right from the beginning with the Selling Like a Sherpa course that we took. I think the biggest takeaway has been to really think about our business much more, to not just see ourselves as creatives, but see ourselves as business owners and understand that we need to be profitable, to just have a better life, to know that if we're making a little bit more money and we're not nickel and diming every single project that comes in, we're respecting ourselves a little bit more. And I think constantly listening to these experts and these people in this field that most of the time work in the same industry as us, we can relate so directly to what they're going through, and the advice that what we're getting from them is so valuable. I think that's been huge. I know during the pandemic, I was out getting exercise, running a lot, listening to all the podcasts. And then I'd message my partner and be like, oh, you got to listen to this podcast because it so specifically covers something that we just talked about or something that we'd like to work on in the future. And, we were able to kind of focus more on our business and take the time and energy to really appreciate that the business is important, and it's not just about, like they always say, working in the business, but working on the business. And I think constantly having this podcast to go back to and to listen to, and constantly having the support from this community has been really helpful for us to constantly remember to never fall back into those traps, and to remember to focus on the business and try to do everything we can, to have the best, career possible. Podcasts. Thanks, guys.
My name is Shaya Yansarabi. I operate out of Burnaby, BC, up in Canada. The name of my business is Shaya K Films. My biggest transformation through the Studio Sherpas podcast is being able to make an informed decision. When I started my business 2 years ago, I didn't know if I should work on my website, if I put hours into marketing and ads, or if I reach out to people and build my network. Through listening to the episodes, I could make an informed decision and feel planted. I could feel firm in my decision, knowing that I needed to work on certain things. I wanted to say thank you to Ryan, Tina, the Studio Sherpas family for existing. I quit my job after 4 years. I had a salary. I was a director at a video and photo production studio, and I quit my job because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to take control and achieve my own goals. And the Studio Sherpas podcast gave me the confidence to take steps and to take those rocks and achieve them over time. And in the 2 years, I have accomplished quite a bit. My financial goals, my networking goals, my marketing goals. And it's because I am an informed entrepreneur. I'm an informed entrepreneur that can still make art. And that, having both of those, is what has made me so successful. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. A lot of us have benefited from this show, and to be able to pass on knowledge and to make an impact on this planet is an admirable thing. So thank you.
Okay, this is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. The big announcement, well, next week is episode 201. You got to come back for that episode. Greg McKeown, who is the author of the book Essentialism. Unbelievable. If you haven't read or listened to that book, you need to do it. It is so good. Really, really good. And I've had a whole community of people here that have read the book, and we've gone through it together, and it's changed our lives in some pretty cool ways. So check that episode out next week. Come back and go check out Greg's book, Essentialism. I can't remember what the tagline is, but Greg McKeown, total stud. Awesome episode. And he made me cry. It was really obnoxious. He kind of hijacked the interview, and yeah, anyway. So here's I think the biggest thing that I can announce, besides all the stuff I'm going to talk about inside of the Facebook group. Grow Your Video Business is the new name of this podcast. That's a big deal for me because it's been the Studio Sherpas podcast for 200 episodes, and rebranding, thinking about all of this stuff. For me, it's probably going to be messy trying to remember that, hey, when I announce the show, this is what I have to say. Or, oh man, I keep saying the old thing and whatever. A couple of reasons why we did this. Number one, for searchability. Nobody knows if somebody's looking for help, if somebody wants help in the video world, they're not going to search Studio Sherpas. Unfortunately, we're not a worldwide brand just yet. So hang on to your hats. So we wanted people to be able to quickly and easily type that into Google, go into the Apple podcast store, Spotify, all those places, and type some keywords so that they can find this show and they can be introduced to this community way faster. I just want to make that easier and more efficient for everybody. So that was kind of the biggest reason. And, I thought about all sorts of different names and whatever. I'm like, the easiest transition would just be to say, hey, this is the tagline that we've been using. So let's just name it the show. Studio Sherpas is obviously still around. All of the things that I do in the context of helping you grow your video business, the courses that we have, the training, the events, all of those things are under the umbrella of Studio Sherpas. The podcast is just grow your video business, and the Facebook group is grow your video business, and the hope, like I said, is just to become more accessible to more people so that we can join forces so that I can offer whatever help I can to more people. And is that it? I think that's it. So next time you see or hear this show, I'm going to say, hey, this is Ryan Coral. Welcome to the Grow Your Video Business podcast, where we talk about video and how to grow your video business. Still working out the tagline for all that. But don't be confused. Make sure that you, if you're subscribed, I imagine that nothing's going to get messed up in your podcast feed or anything like that. But I'm excited. You excited? Thank you for being with me, hanging with me. And okay, I'm done saying thanks. But yes, there it is. Leave a comment if you're on the website page listening to this. Let me know if you got any comments. Just leave a comment there. Hop into the Facebook group. I think you go to facebook.com. Actually, just search Grow Your Video Business and pop up there. Would love to see you inside of that group. And then also, I've got the 30-day Jumpstart Guide, free guide. If you need some marketing ideas, if your business is kind of like in this weird spot where things are a little bit slow, you're not booking stuff like you want to, or you're just like more brand new into this world, like where should you start? I created this free guide that you can download if you go to studiosherpas.com/jumpstart, and it's a 30-day. There are 4 weeks that I've broken down tasks that you can kind of go step by step, things that we are doing in our business that, just in the past couple of weeks, last week, we booked $60,000 in new jobs from 4 different companies. And some of the things that we are doing, I go through in the Jumpstart Guide. So go grab that, studiosherpas.com/jumpstart. I would love to be able to help you, jumpstart your biz. So that's all I've got for now. I'm going to go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.